I've got a headache tonight, so you'll get podcast Nick, I guess you could call it. Hey, today was a slow one, thankfully, and well, both thankfully because I have a headache, and also it was, the headache was the cause, and you know what I mean. I took it slow because I had a headache, and it was nice that I could because I had a headache. There we go. Got up and was going to start off the day with picking up Phantasy Star Universe, only to find out that the save data was corrupt. It wasn't far in, mind you, but I was far enough that I didn't feel like doing it over. So instead, I just booted up Tales of Vesperia. And a lot like the lyrics to a song you haven't heard in a while that you somehow know most of, even though it's been 6 years or whatever, I'm remembering more of the game as I play through it. Or at the very least, it feels familiar. Now, according to the save files I have, the first time I played this game was back in 2010, so that was 11 years ago. And the second time, that first time I didn't complete it, but I got a long ways into it. Like, I'm pretty sure I was close to end game. And, I had nearly 50 hours in it, and I didn't spend much time grinding back then. Which is to say, I think I've done that more so far this one. Or maybe I did, I don't know. But, point being. And then the second time I started it again was in 2013, so 8 years ago. And I only played 10 hours or so before quitting. So a milestone I nearly met today in my one play session. So, and I'm enjoying it. It's stiff. When I say stiff, I mean the animations. But again, this was I want to say it was an early to, I don't remember when it came out. But it was a 2010. It was before 2010. Or maybe even in 2010. I don't know how long after release I got it. But it's over a decade old, easily, and all that good stuff. But the voice acting is really solid, and they've got a heck of a pedigree. I'd forgotten that the main character, Yuri Lowell, which is really close to Yuri Lowenthal, is actually Troy Baker. Guess they couldn't get Yuri. But Troy Baker's in it. David Lodge plays a supporting role. One of your party members is the handler from Persona, from Monster Hunter World. And she was in Persona 5 as well as Hifumi. Which isn't a spoiler, because if you don't know who Hifumi is, then you don't know who Hifumi is. But if you played Persona 5, you know who Hifumi is. Or is it Hifumi? Anyway. What was I saying? The other two party characters I've met so far have very familiar voices, but I don't have any specific references. But they're... One is a voice actress who is a lot of young boys. Just like one of stereotypical young boy in anime. voices. But I mean, not that's a bad thing. She gets a lot of work because she does a good job. She's really good for that specific type. Um, my brain's all over the place. Yeah, no, I am enjoying it though. It's nice to kind of be playing something a little more mindless than, well, like the last Mirrormint could be pretty mindless because the game was doing a lot of the work. But, so I don't know. But I'm enjoying this because, well, for starters, you can passively just run into a monster on the field. The last Remnant had a sort of engage system, like all of the monsters were on the field and you went into a fight with them, but there were only really two outcomes: either you engage them and start a normal fight, or you walk into them, and whether they were aggro to you or not, they get a free turn and a huge advantage. And it's nice, like this game does have, you don't want to get hit in the back by a monster, and you can get an advantage. But if you just make contact on the field, you just start a normal encounter, and unless they hit you in the back, you don't start at a disadvantage. Plus, since the combat's more action-based, the only real disadvantage is if you get hit in the back and you've got more than 4 party members, then it'll randomly shuffle them around. Or in the case, if you have like a set number like 5, it's always going to drop one person for the reserve member. But yeah, like it just like you'll randomly have your reserve members be sucked in as well, which is kind of interesting in its own way. And the other is, if you manage to stun the enemy, they just start stunned until you hit them. But yeah, it's nice that I don't have to stress about engaging a monster before it touches me, like I was having to do in the last Remnant. I'm pretty sure I'll go back to Phantasy Star Universe. In fact, I'm tossing around the idea in my head of going back and forth day to day. Like, today was dedicated to Tales. Tomorrow I may spend the day playing Mom stuck her head in. I forgot to let her know I was laying down. I think she may have thought I was already asleep, or at least facing the other way, because I expected her to at least say hi. I just came back in here. Anyway, well, it's been about 8 minutes. God, I wish I could fall asleep in 8 minutes. That'd be fucking fantastic. Yeah, it's mostly just been me and this headache today, so I'm gonna go to sleep now, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Good night.